So, one of the things I have to remind myself from time to time is that everything is a skill. Everything. Everything that you do, everything that you try and accomplish and achieve, it's all a skill. So, take for example, I'm trying to be more consistent with making videos, right? The fact that, I might miss a day or I might go, oh, what do I talk about? What do I talk about? I remind myself that everything I'm doing is a skill. And skills, when you're building them up, at first they're going to suck. First, I'm going to suck. But the thing with skills is that you just need to take a bit of time to get through that suck phase and move on to where it's actually getting to the position that you want, right? So what I used to do back in the day, I guess, is that I would beat myself up because I'm going, oh man, I'm not doing the thing, I'm not staying consistent with the gym, or, I'm not lifting as much as I want, or I'm not talking as well as I want to, or, I'm not doing business as well as I can, or whatever. But then I remind myself that with skills, you have to build them up from a low level up to a high level. And the way that you do it is through using a thing called progressive overload. So progressive overload is a term that I'm borrowing from the gym world, where the idea is that you're progressively overloading yourself over time. So when you come to a gym, when you're getting practice in the skill of lifting weights, of going to the gym consistently, if you're a bit of a weakling and you can't lift up much weight at all, you're not instantly going to go for like the 200 kilo deadlifts and then punish yourself that you can't lift it off the ground at all, right? That's, no point in doing that. So what you want to do is that you want to start off with whatever you're capable of doing at that time. If it has to be 5 kilos, sure, you're starting off with the 5 kilo weights, right? But then, over time, every time that you go to the gym after that, you add on a little bit more weight, a little bit more weight. So today it's going to be 5 kilos. The next week, it's going to be 6.25, whatever it might be. And then 7.5, etc., etc., etc. Going little bit by little bit, incrementally, progressively overloading yourself, so that your muscles, they get used to that level, and then next week they repair and get used to just a little bit more, just pushing the boundary just a little bit by little bit by little bit. And eventually, over time, you'll be able to be strong enough to get to the 200 kilo deadlift without, snapping your back trying to do it from the get-go. So the idea that everything is a skill allows you to apply progressive overload to everything. So if you're setting up a business, understand that, your skill at business, if you're setting up a business for the first time, your skill at business might be pretty shit. It might not be to the point just yet where you're able to set up a business, know how to do everything, and actually make money from it. You might be at the point where you'll start it up and it'll flop. Cool. That's just where your skill is at, but you've learned a whole bunch of things along the way. Because next time when you try and set up a new business, you'll know better and you'll have that little progressive overload of like giving yourself a little bit more challenge, or setting up in a different way. And then as you go along, you'll get a little bit more pressure of like, oh, okay, now I've got clients coming in, I've got this coming in, I've got a little bit more money coming in. And then maybe you overexpand or something like that. And then business goes flop again or whatever. Cool. That's just where your skill is at. No need to beat yourself up over anything or whatever. Just remember that it's just a progressive overload. And using this idea of progressive overload, it allows you to, one, be a bit more forgiving to yourself and not get caught up in negativity about yourself, going like, oh man, I'm a person that's not built for this, I'm not born for this, I suck at this, da 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 da. You can just go, all right, cool, that happened. What can I create from here? How can I move forward? And keep going onwards. Like, this is just the part of the process. This is the part of building up a new skill in business, new skill in, having successful relationships, new skill in, having consistency in your own, schedules, whatever it may be. Everything is a skill. And you want to use this idea, this notion of progressive overload, and apply it to everything. And just understand that sometimes things require just a little bit of time just to build up. Where things can really mess you up is if ego gets in the way and you're trying to lift up that 200 kilo deadlift right from the get-go when you haven't even done any gym training at all. Your skill is not there, but you're trying to shoot so far ahead, far beyond your realistic means. And then you just destroy your spine and go in thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to lift up this 200 kilo deadlift. Like, yes, it's good to shoot and aim really high. Although if you're getting ego in the way and saying, no, from where I am, I deserve to be up there without doing all the work required in building all the skills necessary to get to that point, you might end up hurting yourself. Right? But in a way, that itself is a lesson too in building up the skill. Like, I've hurt myself a couple times in the gym as well. And those were just lessons for me to say, okay, I need to build up in a more progressive way. It really solidified the importance of progressive overload. So no matter what you're trying to learn, no matter what you're trying to level up in life, making new friends, setting up a successful relationship with your partner, building a business, or, creative writing, I don't know, whatever it may be, basket weaving. It's like everything is a skill. And don't beat yourself up that you're not in a position that you want to be in. And don't get your ego so, pumped up saying that, no, I deserve to be in a position without doing the work for it. Just understand that whatever you're doing, ensure that you are aiming for good heights, but you're also putting in the work, progressively overloading to that high point that you're aiming at. And don't beat yourself up. See every little setback or the amount of time that you're putting into something as the investment towards building up that solid base towards that higher goal. I guess you could use the analogy of like a tree growing. If a tree is just growing up and up and up and up and up, yes, it'll go really tall. But if it forgot about its roots going down into the ground, covering all the, fundamental things that you need to cover as part of these kind of skills that you're developing in life. If the tree doesn't grow down as well, it's just going to fall over. So just remember, if you're not going at the pace of I want to be there, but I'm over here and, I'm not as smart as everybody else, whatever it may be, just understand that everybody's journey is different. This is just part of your journey. This is part of the skills that you need to learn. And you just need to progressively overload towards that point that you're working towards. So that's my take on building yourself up as a person, on seeing everything as a skill that can just be built up, and giving yourself a healthy way to really build yourself up in the right way with a positive mindset. All right, go out there and grow.